Let's talk about BYU. BYU, how about you? What do you think? What's going on here? It's a new team to the Big 12. This is new. This is new.
It's new for them because at least we saw. Cincinnati and Houston and UCF at least have been in a conference. Right, BYU's had an independent schedule for a while now, and now like it or hate it, like it's gonna be different for them being in a conference. I don't know how they're gonna adjust. They might like it more. They might dislike it, but to me, I'm not gonna touch this line at all. I think too many questions that I don't know can be answered. I think Keaton Slovis, crazy in year 3. He seems like such a BYU guy. I think he fits there really, really well. They got a running back coming in from Colorado, but yeah, I don't know. Kingsley, Suamatea. I'm sorry if I butchered that. He's a stud. We all know that. The NFL guy. They got the right tackle from Oklahoma State, Caleb Etienne. It's pretty awesome. Their O-line's gonna be pretty good, right? They obviously lose their offensive line coach, like we just talked about with Baylor, right?
And Barrington, the Barrington Bros.
And the Barrington brothers or cousins or
whatever they
the
are.
Barringtons. But yeah, the defense is honestly what worries me. I think that D-line is not very good. Not going to hold up from a Big 12 standpoint.
So what do you do? Lean over, lean under? It sounds like you're
I'm
leaning
pushing
under.
up.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd lean under, but I'm just not going to touch this line at all.
Yeah, I might be crazy to like lean over a little bit here, but look, I think Jaren Hall is like a good player. I don't know. I look at him like kind of like a loose cannon, and I think Keaton Slow, the coaching staff, has had nothing but good things to say about him, right? I mean, they're gonna say bad things about him. No, probably not. But look, and he likes being there a lot as well. He's talked highly of Aaron Roderick since he's been there. Look, they lose some guys in the offensive line, but look, Sataki brought in maybe 5 million transfers there, right? All guys, not all guys, but there are at least 3 or 4 guys there though that they got in as transfers that are kind of ready to go, like that could play at a higher, maybe now a Power 5 level, right? And now I think their wide receiver room is lacking a little bit. I do think it's big that Cody Epps is back, right? Because I think he left, he was gonna leave, and then he came back, which is really nice. And you mentioned Deion Smith from Colorado running back, but I want to talk about Aiden Robbins, guy from UNLV, guy that I talked about on a running back episodes, maybe like a sleeper here in the Big 12 as a guy. That dude is ginormous. That dude is huge, right? And look, there's a lot of 3-3-5 defenses out there with maybe some smaller linebacking cores out there that might have a tough time tackling that dude. So I don't know. I mean, Puka Nacua has gone at wide receiver, but I mean, their defense was really like what hurt them last year, quite a bit. But I don't know. People are high on Jay Hill, right? The guy that they brought in from at DC. They say really good things about. He's coming from Weber State or Weber State, however you say that. I'm pretty sure it's Weber State. Actually, I learned that pretty recently. They brought Eddie Heckard with them at cornerback. Look, they could be pretty good, and they brought in a lot of transfers on the D line as well. I think 3 of them to be exact. So look, hopefully at least they can boost some depth there. But I do think that they could be fine. Also, too, like if you look at the schedule, like it's not as daunting as maybe it should be, right? Or as it sounds like going to a Power Fives conference, right? You're out of conference, you get Sam Houston State and Southern Utah, right? That's fine. Yeah, you go to Kansas, but the good news is you get Cincinnati and at home, and you get ISU at home, right? Those are 2 big games that you get at home. Plus, if you go 2 wins in those out of conference games, maybe you can sneak a win at Kansas. Maybe you go to West Virginia and win another game there, right? So maybe you steal. They stole one last year, or sorry,
beat Baylor.
Yeah, they beat Baylor. Stole one from Baylor last year. Now, that was a different team. It was a different team, but I think there's a lot of experience on this team relative to. I know they lost a couple guys, but there's still experience on this team. I just need to see that defense get better, but hopefully Jay Hill can do something and kind of inject some fire in that defense so they can figure it out in this conference now. So it's exciting. This is kind of a cornerstone year for Kalani Sitake over there. it doesn't need to be a home run year, but it'd be nice to make a bowl game his first year in the Big 12, especially because some of those other new teams are kind of on the same page, in terms of like even resources and like recruiting. Like even though like a team like Houston or Cincinnati, they should be recruiting at a higher level than BYU, and they are, but it feels like they're not there yet. So I think they need to take advantage of this being in the Big 12 early, right? I think they need to take advantage. So I'm lean over. Plus, you can get it at plus 105, I think. So there's a little bit of value there. But
Yeah, I think if BYU were to make a bowl game, I think that'd be a really successful year for BYU and Kalani Sitke. But we do have to talk about Micah Harper, right? Out for the year. That is a brutal loss on the back end. He was their star safety. To replace him, it's gonna be some young guys, right? You're gonna have Talon Alfrey gonna have to step up, and then Raider Damani is a guy their staff is really, really high on. He's a 4-star guy. He's really, really he was the future of that room, but now he's got to grow up super fast. And he's gonna have to provide right depth in that 2 deep to maybe even get some meaningful snaps there come Big 12 play. A transfer that I want to a highlight though is, and I'm gonna butcher this, right? It's their linebacker that's coming over from Utah State. It's AJ Vong Vong AJ Vong. I'm sorry about that, but he is awesome. He was a guy that a lot of schools wanted kind of late in the cycle. If you were looking for, an FBS like experienced linebacker that's a really good tackler, sound tackler, good in the run game. He was the guy, and a lot of Power 5 schools reached out to him. BYU ended up holding on to him, and him and Ben Bywater are going to be a good duo in the middle of that roster. It's up to the D line though. That's going to have to figure it out, like you talked about with all those transfers and raising the floor of that room, being a little bit more
yeah,
physical in the Big 12.
think about Micah Harper though. I want to go back to that. It's so funny though, because like last year they were low key kind of they were kind of held back by injuries. There was quite a bit of injuries there, and they decided they were going to flip their entire training staff this year. Right? Hey, let's get something new. And yikes, already. But
Oh,
it could just be a fluke thing, right? Maybe this training staff puts in that work and they're able to stay healthy. I don't know that the depth is here necessarily, but they totally raided the transfer portal, right, to kind of get that depth. I think Sataki knows what he's doing in terms of like he needs that kind of depth, right? Especially like in recent years, right? Like they've really had deeper O lines than maybe we're used to like a G5 team having, or I guess independent team having, but well, besides Notre Dame, but definitely like I don't know. We'll see. So no play for me, no play for you, but I'm excited to see what they got over there in Provo.